The sound came at 3:03 a.m., ripping through the silence of space like a scream in a vacuum. Commander Elena Vega's heart pounded as the alert system blared in her small cabin aboard the Stellar Horizon. The ship's gentle hum, a constant companion during its 2-year mission to the edges of known space, was drowned out by the pulsating alarm. She reached for the console and saw the source of the disturbance, a transmission on an unknown frequency repeating in steady, chilling intervals. Before she could process it, Dr. Cale Trask's voice broke through the intercom. "Commander, you need to get to the bridge. Now." Elena was out of her cabin in seconds, rushing down the dimly lit corridors. Her crew of 30 scientists, engineers, and navigators were all experts in their fields, but this wasn't a typical mission. The Horizon wasn't just a research vessel. It was humanity's most advanced probe into the unknown, designed to venture where no one had dared before. When she reached the bridge, the tension in the air was palpable. Trask sat at his station, hunched over the console, his eyes fixed on the waveform of the signal. It was unlike anything they had encountered before, a series of rhythmic tones layered with faint harmonic overtones. "This isn't natural," Trask said, his voice low. "Is it a distress call?" Elena asked, staring at the data scrolling across the screen. "I don't think so," Trask replied. "The frequency doesn't match any known patterns of communication, and the source—" He hesitated. "What about it?" "It's 40 light-years ahead, near an uncharted gas giant. Whatever sent this is waiting." "Waiting for what?" asked Lieutenant Juno Carter, the ship's navigator. Trask looked up, his eyes clouded with uncertainty. "Us, maybe." Elena's mind raced. Protocol dictated that any unidentified signal be reported immediately, but they were weeks away from Earth's nearest relay station. The choice was hers and hers alone. "Set a course," she said, her voice steady, despite the knot tightening in her chest. "We're investigating this." Carter nodded, her fingers dancing over the navigation console. Course plotted, estimated arrival in 72 hours. As the Horizon adjusted its trajectory, the signal grew louder, more distinct. The rhythmic pulses seemed almost alive, resonating with an unsettling familiarity. Elena found herself staring out the viewport, the stars stretching endlessly before them, and felt a deep instinctual unease. What awaited them beyond the void? The stellar horizon dropped out of warp on the edge of a colossal gas giant's rings. The planet's emerald and ochre hues cast an eerie glow, illuminating the fragmented remains of a massive alien ship, partially buried in the swirling debris of ice and rock. "Scan the area," Elena ordered. Trask's fingers flew across his console. "Picking up faint biosignatures," he said, his voice tinged with disbelief. "But they're weak, erratic." "And the signal?" "Still broadcasting," he replied. "It's coming from inside the ship." The alien vessel dwarfed the Horizon. Its jagged, blackened hull bore the scars of battle. Its once sleek design was fractured, as if it had been torn apart by forces far beyond human comprehension. "What could do this to a ship that size?" Carter whispered. "Something we don't want to meet," muttered Ensign Lucas Greer, the youngest member of the crew. Elena ignored their murmurs. "Prepare the shuttle," she said. "We're going aboard." "Commander, are you sure that's wise?" Trask asked. "Do you want to wait here for whoever or whatever destroyed that thing to come back?" Elena shot back. The shuttle team comprised Elena, Trask, Carter, and Greer. As they approached the alien vessel, its true scale became apparent. The damaged hull stretched for kilometers, and strange glyphs etched into its surface seemed to pulse faintly as if alive. Docking was surprisingly easy. The ship's airlock opened automatically, its mechanism still functional despite the apparent devastation. "Why is this still operational?" Carter asked, her voice tight. "I'm more worried about why it's letting us in," Trask replied. Inside, the atmosphere was dim-lit by a faint green glow emanating from the walls. The temperature was cold but tolerable, and the air, though stale, was breathable. "Biosignatures are ahead," Trask said, pointing toward a corridor. As they moved deeper into the ship, the glyphs on the walls seemed to shift and writhe in the corner of their vision. Elena felt a growing sense of dread, as though the ship itself was watching them. They entered a vast chamber, its ceiling arching high above them. In the center stood a cryogenic pod surrounded by a faint energy field. Inside the pod was a figure, humanoid but unmistakably alien. Its translucent skin shimmered faintly, and its elongated limbs and angular features gave it an otherworldly beauty. Trask approached the pod, his scanner beeping erratically. "It's alive," he whispered. Before Elena could respond, the ship shuddered violently. A low, guttural hum filled the chamber. "What the hell was that?" Greer shouted. "Something's activated," Trask said, staring at his scanner. "The electromagnetic field, it's spiking." The pod hissed as it opened. The alien inside gasped, its luminous eyes locking onto Elena. Before anyone could react, the alien spoke. Its voice was a series of melodic clicks and hums, but as it waved its hand over a nearby console, the ship's systems translated. "Who are you?" The crew froze, their weapons raised but their hands trembling. "We come in peace," Elena said, stepping forward cautiously. "We received your signal." The alien tilted its head, its expression unreadable. "Not our signal," it said. "The others are coming." The ship shuddered again, more violently this time. Over the comms, Carter's voice cracked through. "Commander, we've got a problem. Multiple vessels just dropped out of warp. They're surrounding us." The alien's gaze turned to the viewport. Its eyes filled with an emotion the crew didn't expect to see. Fear. The alien stumbled from the cryopod, clutching its side as it gasped for breath. Its skin, pale and faintly bioluminescent, rippled with light in time with the pulsating ship around them. It spoke again, its melodic voice trembling. "They will not stop," the alien said as the translation system crackled to life. "The hunters. They are here." "Hunters?" Elena repeated, her voice sharp. The alien turned its luminous eyes on her, trembling. "They follow destruction. Consume all, my people. Fled them, but we could not hide forever. I am the last." The ship jolted violently, throwing the team off balance. Elena's comm device blared with Carter's voice. "Commander, enemy ships are moving into attack formation. They're hailing us, if you can call it that. The transmission is just static and screams." "Screams?" Trask's face drained of color. "We have no time for explanations," the alien interrupted, moving toward a control console embedded in the chamber's wall. Its fingers, long and delicate, moved swiftly across alien symbols that glowed under its touch. "This ship has weapons, but they are old, dormant. I can awaken them, but it will not be enough. We must leave." "Leave?" Elena snapped, gripping the alien's arm. "That's not an option. They'll follow us wherever we go, won't they?" The alien's gaze dropped. "Yes, but here we are. Exposed. Weak." The chamber shuddered again as another blast hit the ship. Overhead, the ceiling groaned under the strain, small fragments of metal breaking loose. "Trask, can we trust it?" Elena demanded. "Do we have a choice?" He shot back. The alien moved with urgency, now gesturing toward the walls. Panels slid away to reveal a dormant energy weapon, a massive cannon embedded in the ship's structure. "This will delay them," the alien said, "but we must activate the core to power it. Come." The team hurried through the alien corridors, the ship's eerie glow pulsing in sync with the distant thrum of enemy weapons. Along the way, Elena's comm buzzed again. "Commander." Carter reported, her voice tense. "Their ships are circling us. They're toying with us, testing our defenses. We've got minutes, maybe less." "We'll buy time," Elena replied, her mind racing. "Get everyone on the horizon ready for evasive maneuvers." Reaching the ship's core, they found a massive pulsating sphere suspended in the center of a vast chamber. It throbbed with an otherworldly light, its energy barely holding the ship together. "This core, it will awaken the ship's defenses," the alien explained, "but it will also draw them closer. The hunters crave power. If they sense it, they will come." "They're already here," Elena said grimly. "Do it." The alien pressed its hand against the core. Light surged outward, illuminating the chamber in blinding white. The ship roared to life around them, the glyphs on the walls glowing fiercely. Through the viewport, they saw the hunters' ships hesitate, their formation breaking momentarily. And then they attacked. The stellar horizon shuddered violently as the hunter ships opened fire. Explosions lit up the void, the gas giant's rings scattering debris like shattered glass. Elena's team scrambled back to the bridge of the alien vessel as its ancient weaponry powered up. On board the horizon, Carter's voice came over the comms, frantic, but composed. "Commander, the hunters are targeting our engines. Shields are holding, but not for long." "Stay mobile," Elena ordered. "We're bringing the alien ship online. Trask, get to the weapon systems." Trask nodded, racing toward the glowing consoles. The alien followed him, guiding his movements with hurried gestures. "Target their largest ships first," the alien said. "The hunters are strong, but they are predictable." The alien vessel's weaponry activated with a deep, resonating hum. Outside beams of energy lanced out, striking one of the hunter ships dead center. The vessel exploded in a brilliant flash, but more ships emerged from the debris undeterred. "Carter, report," Elena shouted. "Their tactics are changing," Carter replied. "It's like they're learning from us. They're adapting." On the alien ship, Elena turned to the alien. "What aren't you telling us? How do we beat them?" "You cannot," the alien said simply, its voice filled with sorrow. "Not alone. My people. We fought for centuries. We built weapons, shields, fortresses. And yet the hunters consumed everything. They are unending." Elena's fists clenched. "There has to be something. We need time to regroup, to warn Earth." The ship shook violently as another hunter vessel fired its shot, grazing the hull. Sparks rained down from the ceiling and the alien staggered, clutching its side. "There is one way," the alien said weakly. "This ship can open a rift, a jump through space-time. It will take us far, but the energy required will destroy the ship." "What happens to you?" Elena asked. "I stay," the alien said softly. "It will not matter. I am already dead." The alien's luminous eyes met hers, and for a moment she saw the weight of centuries of despair. It wasn't just fear she saw, it was resolve. "Do it," Elena said, her voice breaking. The alien moved to the core again, its hands trembling as it activated the rift generator. Outside, the hunter ships closed in their weapons, charging for a final assault. "Brace yourselves," Elena shouted. The core pulsed violently and the ship erupted in a surge of light. A tear in space opened before them, its edges crackling with energy. The alien vessel surged forward, dragging the horizon with it just as the hunter ships fired. The rift closed behind them, consuming the alien vessel in a blinding explosion. As silence fell, the horizon drifted in the vast emptiness of uncharted space. Elena stood on the bridge, staring at the star map the alien had left behind. Its points of light glimmered like beacons in the darkness. The hunters weren't the only threat. "We're not alone," she said softly. "And we're not ready." The stellar horizon drifted in silence, its crew shaken but alive. The alien vessel's sacrifice had bought them a reprieve, but the cost weighed heavily on everyone. Elena stood at the viewport, staring into the unknown expanse of uncharted space. For the first time in her career, she felt truly unmoored. Behind her, Trask and Carter studied the alien star map. Its holographic projection hovered over the central console, a constellation of glowing points connected by faint, pulsing lines. "This isn't just a map," Trask said, his voice quiet. "It's a path. Each of these points leads to something. Artifacts, maybe other ships or civilizations." The alien called it a trail. "A trail to what?" Carter asked. "To survival," Elena said, turning toward them. "The hunters are just one piece of a larger puzzle. That alien knew something bigger, something we're not prepared for. If this map holds the key to defending Earth, we follow it." Carter hesitated. "Commander, the crew is exhausted. We barely survived that encounter. If there's more out there like the hunters?" Elena's jaw tightened. "There's no turning back." If we don't do this, Earth won't stand a chance. A faint beeping interrupted them. Greer's voice crackled over the comms from engineering. Commander, you might want to see this. The alien left us a gift. Elena and Trask hurried to engineering, where Greer stood before a large crate that had been recovered from the alien vessel just before the jump. Its surface was etched with glowing glyphs pulsing faintly. I think it's a weapon, Greer said, stepping back as the glyphs rearranged themselves. The crate opened with a hiss, revealing an object that looked both ancient and impossibly advanced, a metallic sphere with shifting, intricate patterns that seemed alive. Trask scanned it, his brow furrowing. This isn't just a weapon, it's a tool. It adapts to its user. Commander, this could give us the edge we need. Elena stared at the object, feeling a strange pull toward it. The alien's final words echoed in her mind. You cannot defeat them alone. Prepare the ship, she said, her voice resolute. We're following the first waypoint. The horizon arrived at the first waypoint, a dying star surrounded by a debris field of ancient ships. The star's light flickered weakly, casting long shadows across the wreckage. The crew worked in tense silence, scanning for anything that might be useful or dangerous. There, Carter said, pointing to a structure floating near the star's core. It was massive, a spire-like construct made of black metal that shimmered faintly in the star's fading light. Trask studied the readings. It's emitting a signal, similar to the one we followed to the alien ship. Another trap? Greer asked nervously. Or another chance, Elena said. The team suited up and approached the spire in a shuttle docking at what appeared to be an entrance. The interior was stark, its walls inscribed with glyphs similar to those on the alien ship. The air was breathable, but the temperature was icy. As they ventured deeper, they found a central chamber. In its center was a pedestal atop which sat a second sphere similar to the one they had recovered. This one glowed brighter, its patterns shifting more rapidly. Trask approached cautiously. It's linked to the first sphere. They're part of the same system. What does it do? Elena asked. Trask hesitated, scanning the device. It's information, blueprints, technology, maybe even strategies. But it's locked. The two spheres need to be activated together. Before anyone could respond, the spire trembled. Alarms blared and the walls began to glow red. Commander, we've got incoming, Carter's voice shouted over the comms. It's the hunters. They found us. Elena grabbed the second sphere and turned to the team. Back to the shuttle, now. They sprinted through the spire as it shuddered violently. Hunter ships appeared outside, firing on the spire and the horizon. The shuttle barely made it back to the docking bay as the spire began to collapse. On board the horizon, Elena held both spheres as Trask worked frantically to activate them. The ship rocked under fire, and Carter's voice filled the comms. Shields are failing. We need to jump. Not yet, Elena shouted. Trask? I've almost got it. He yelled, his hands shaking as he connected the spheres. The moment the connection was made, the ship's systems lit up. The spheres projected a glowing map into the air, showing the hunters' movements across the galaxy and their weaknesses. It's a command network, Trask said, his voice awed. If we destroy their control nodes, we can cut them off from their fleet. They'll be vulnerable. The ship trembled violently. Carter screamed over the comms, "We've got to go, Commander." Do it, Elena ordered. The horizon jumped just as the spire exploded, taking several hunter ships with it. When they emerged in a safe zone, the crew sat in stunned silence. Elena looked at the spheres glowing softly in her hands. They were the key to fighting back, but the path ahead was fraught with danger. The hunters weren't the only threat in the galaxy, and each waypoint on the map would bring them closer to answers and more powerful enemies. But for the first time, Elena felt something she hadn't since the signal first reached them. Hope. We're not alone, she said quietly, a determined smile breaking through her exhaustion. And now they'll know it too.